Now, what next for President Uhuru Kenyatta? Because from all indications, the senators are determined. The senators are not going to give up. They are determined to stop the revenue allocation formula from passing. And also from what I've observed, I also strongly believe that there is no goodwill on the side of Raila Amolo Odinga. And of course, the deputy president has made it very clear that for him, he stands for a win-win situation. Basically, he's also standing in the middle. But what next for President Uhuru Kenyatta? Because the president had actually planned to use the revenue allocation formula, the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling campaign, to endow himself to the people of Mount Kenya region. So what next for him? Because I observed 3 things. The first thing I observed is that intimidation is not going to work in this case. These senators are determined to oppose this bill. Intimidations won't work. I saw David Murade trying to intimidate Sakaja and Murkomen. I saw Sakaja today on Twitter trending. And physically, his banners were hanging all over Nairobi as part of strategy to intimidate him to support this bill. But Sakaja was unmoved. Sakaja didn't sleep at his home. And Sakaja ensured that by 5 a.m., he was actually at the Senate. So intimidation is not going to work in this case. Even the ODM senators are not being intimidated. They can't take that. So that's one thing I observed. The second thing I've observed is that there is clearly no proper leadership at the Senate. Uhuru Kenyatta has failed the president. In fact, Uhuru Kenyatta and Pogisho are the 2 guys who should be blamed for the whole mess.
Kenyatta hawezi kuconvince hata senator mmoja kwa ile upande wake wa walio wengi kurudi pande kwenda pande yote. Hawezi.
So the president must figure out how he's going to deal with these people if they'll continue leading the house. I want to give you an example. On Tuesday last week, James Orengo moved a motion at the same Senate. And James Orengo's motion failed. He wanted to adjourn the Senate to allow for further consultation. That's exactly the same motion which Senator Kipchumba Murkomen moved today. James Orengo's motion was defeated by 40-7. Today's motion by Kipchumba Murkomen was easily passed. I think it was 36, 38, 26, something there. So it means there's no leadership. Uhuru Kenyatta has failed to take leadership of the House. I think it's being carried away by the mere fact that he was appointed as the majority whip. What about Pogisho? I think Pogisho, because he comes from Kanu with only 2 senators in the House, 2 or 3, I think that's the reason why he doesn't command a lot of respect amongst senators. So the president must figure out how he's going to deal with that. And the other thing I've observed is that the senators are determined to oppose this bill. So there's nothing which the president can do to prevent that unless he makes certain changes which is going to be agreeable to both parties. But the senators are determined. They're not going to budge for several reasons. The first reason why they are doing this, most senators whose counties are going to lose, some of them are planning to contest for the governorship. So how would you contest for a governorship when you are advocating for your county to lose? Number 2, it's bad politics for them down there. Take, for example, the senators from Coast. How do you expect the senators from Coast to support this bill just because they support ODM party? It can't work. How do you expect someone like Kithure Kindiki to support this bill just because it comes from Tharaka-Nithi, from Jubilee, and Tharaka-Nithi is losing of all the counties in central Kenya, in the larger Mount Kenya region? So these senators are determined. But what next for President Uhuru Kenyatta? It's actually very bad on the president that the first time this bill was brought to the floor of the House, it failed to pass. Again today, it has failed to pass. So what next for President Uhuru Kenyatta? In my view, the president can do these 4 things. Number 1 is that the president must take personal initiative to help the senators build consensus. He must agree that this bill is good for those who are gaining, but it's also bad for those who are losing. So when the president agrees to that, then he can agree to take leadership, personal initiative, to reach out, for example, to senators from the coast, sit them down, then they can agree. These senators will be able to explain to him that for us, we are opposing this bill because this, and this. The president can then also explain to them that I want you to support it because of this, and in return, when the equalization funds will be actualized or will be passed, then coastal region and these other marginalized regions will benefit. But I think because the president has not taken personal initiative, nothing is going to happen. And I remember James Orengo stating clearly that the reason why they have failed to reach consensus is because the president is not accessible. So people like Senator Uhuru Kenyatta will just wake up that the president amesema, the president amesema, the president amesema. But you know, senators, I said here last time, and I'm repeating, most senators are not members of parliament. So senators will not be moved. Most of them will make a choice and stick by it. So that's number 1. The president must take personal initiative. Number 2, which I think is the most important, is that the president must agree that the changes he made recently at the Senate is affecting his political party. Irungu Kenyatta is not able to help reach consensus. Irungu Kenyatta is not able to persuade fellow senators. You see, this issue is about persuasion. Why did Orengo's motion failed? Orengo is the minority whip. Is the minority leader at the Senate. So you'd have expected Orengo to rally all ODM senators, for example, or all NASA senators, and agree with them that because this bill is bad, let us do this. Let us go and support an adjournment motion so that we can try and negotiate from outside. He didn't do that. Probably Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, having been there for a long time, understood this and prevailed upon most of those senators that there was need to adjourn the House. Because something was telling me that if this motion was brought to the House today, the one which Senator Sakaja was supposed to bring to the House, probably it would have been defeated. Because I looked at the way these senators voted, I realized that Samongeri shifted. I realized that Senator Wako, because of the statement by George Aniri, the Vihiga senator, decided to abstain. Forget about the nominated ones like Omanga, all those other ones. The ones who are voting, probably the vote would have gone the other side. But again, it would have still ended up in a stalemate. So in my view, the president must accept that Senator Kenyatta and Samuel Pogisho have failed. So he must now appoint a new team from amongst senators. He can sit with the leadership of the Senate. Then they agree to appoint a committee of, let's say, 5 senators or even 7 senators to help in ventilating some of the issues and try to agree. Like, for example, you can decide, like, we have coastal region who have issues, so you can pick a few senators from coastal region. Then, let's say in Rift Valley, you can pick someone like Ledamo or Lekina, those who are opposed to it. Then appoint also those who are supporting it so that these guys can agree. But it must be a new team. A team which can easily agree on things, disagree to agree. Irungu Kenyatta and the current leadership have failed. Number 3, I think the president must also now agree that professionals can actually help in putting some of this input. He must now start engaging professionals. I know at his disposal, there's senior government officials who are experts, who are advising him. But it's now time for the president to seek for external opinion. He can reach out to Ndi. If Ndi cannot, then we have so many economists. We have people like Kwame who can actually give him expert opinion on all these matters. Because without doing that, the president will, the debate is going to be engineered by emotions, political emotions, which is not good for the country. The president is someone who is looking for his legacy. So in my view, he must now start seeking for for expert opinion on this particular matter. Because I remember yesterday, I was watching the CRA, the Commission for Revenue Allocation. They were talking on this particular matter. And they were like, because of the implementation of the equalization funds, that's why this debate is the way it is. So expert would explain to the president why they need that fund. And without that fund, what they can do now. And they were also explaining that they are still very ready to help give their opinions. So I think it's time for the president to swallow his pride and agree to sit with these people and find a lasting solution. Because without that, it's not going to work. And lastly, I think the president must also reach out to leadership from these specific regions. So you can sit with the governor for Mombasa, senator for Mombasa, governor for Kilifi, senator for Kilifi, governor for Lamu, senator for Lamu, governor for Kwale, senator for Kwale, governor for Narok, senator for Narok, the governor for Tharaka Nithi, senator for Tharaka Nithi, all these other, governor for Wajir, senator for Wajir, governor for Mandera, senator for Mandera, the governor for Garissa, senator for Garissa. You can meet with all these leaders. Then you can agree with them. Now you have issues. What are some of your issues? These leaders will ventilate. Then once they ventilate, the president, as a human being, will also listen to their grievances and come to a conclusion on what they should do. Because it's embarrassing that this bill is now taking the better part of discussions in this country. We are faced with a pandemic. And this pandemic, the worst thing is that there are people who have turned it into business opportunities. So the country should actually focus on that. I would have expected the president to address the issues of COVID, to address the issues of people who have now turned it into business. He should address why Kenyans are actually buying masks. Why are Kenyans forced to buy masks? Why is mask business a booming business in this country? When we receive millions and millions in terms of donations. Why are hospitals, for example, in Kisumu here, they are complaining about the mask they are using, the protective equipment they are using, personal protective equipment they are using. And these are the frontline, in this case, in this country. Why are we even discussing this revenue allocation formula, something which can be easily discussed? And if the president is also not willing to engage them, then he can decide and say he can, so that Kenyans can now focus on other things. But in my view, the president just needs to do those 4 things which I've explained up there. I don't know what you think, but that's my thought. If you're watching this video for the first time, please take a second or 2, click subscribe button. And to the subscribers, thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Until tomorrow.